The silent vanguard. Dr. Elena Martinez stood motionless in the depths of the Atacama Desert Observatory, her eyes fixed on the holographic display floating before her. The signal that had haunted her team for months finally made sense. It wasn't random cosmic noise as her colleagues had insisted. It was a message, encoded in the quantum signature of an ancient pulsar. "Run it again, AI." She commanded the observatory's AI system. The holographic representation shimmered, transforming into a complex geometric pattern that slowly rotated in the air. Each pulse from the distant star carried fragments of information, piecing together humanity's forgotten history. The message was clear. To the children of Earth, when you read this, they will have already found you. Elena's hands trembled as she initiated a secure connection to the Global Science Council. This discovery would change everything. Humanity's understanding of its place in the cosmos, its history, and most importantly, its future. Across the vast expanse of space, aboard the Hegemony flagship, Eternal Vigilance, first observer Kralfax studied the reports from the Sol system with mounting concern. His crystalline form pulsed with deep purple hues, a sign of distress among his kind. The humans were progressing too quickly, decoding signals that should have remained dormant for millennia. "How long until the containment fleet reaches Earth's orbit?" he asked, his thoughts resonating through the ship's neural network. 17 planetary rotations. First observer, came the response. "The humans remain unaware of our approach." Kralfax's form dimmed slightly. They were supposed to remain primitive for another century at least. The archive was clear about their development timeline. He accessed the Hegemony's historical records, studying the ancient warnings about Earth and its inhabitants. Back on Earth, Elena worked through the night, decoding more of the pulsar's message. Each new revelation painted a more incredible picture. Humanity hadn't evolved solely on Earth. They had been placed there, hidden away eons ago by their own ancestors. The reason remained encrypted in the deepest layers of the signal. As dawn broke over the Atacama, Elena's quantum computer decoded another fragment. "The key lies in your blood. The Hegemony must never know." She ran her hand through her short black hair, mind racing with implications. According to the message, every human carried dormant genetic sequences, carefully preserved through countless generations. But for what purpose? The answer came 3 days later, when the first ships appeared in the outer solar system. Elena was presenting her findings to the Science Council when the alert came. Massive objects had emerged from hyperspace near Neptune's orbit, their energy signatures unlike anything in Earth's database. The room erupted in chaos as military advisors rushed in, bringing news of more ships appearing throughout the solar system. "Dr. Martinez," General Sarah Chen's voice cut through the panic. "Your message mentions something about our blood. What exactly are we carrying in our genes?" Before Elena could answer, every screen in the room flickered to life. A being of crystalline structure appeared, first observer Kralfax of the Hegemony. His form shifted through various colors as he spoke. "People of Earth, I am authorized to offer you one chance at survival. Your development has exceeded acceptable parameters. Submit to immediate genetic suppression or face extinction. You have 24 hours to comply." Elena felt a strange sensation begin to build in her mind as the alien's message concluded. Around the room, others pressed their hands to their temples, experiencing the same phenomenon. The dormant sequences in their DNA had begun to activate, responding to the Hegemony's presence. In orbit, Kralfax received an urgent message from his science division. "First observer, we're detecting quantum signatures from the surface. They match the ancient protocols. Impossible. They're awakening." Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, in a facility older than human civilization, ancient machines hummed to life. Similar installations activated under the ice of Antarctica, in the heart of the Himalayas, and beneath the sands of the Sahara. Earth's defensive grid, hidden for millennia, began to power up. Elena watched in awe as golden light coursed through her veins, carrying with it knowledge that had waited generations to be remembered. She understood now why they had been hidden. why their ancestors had gone to such lengths to protect them. "General," she said, her voice steady despite the transformation occurring within her, "we don't need to submit or face extinction. We need to remember who we are." She turned to face the council, her eyes now shimmering with the same golden light that ran through her veins. "We weren't hidden here because we were weak. We were hidden here because we were too powerful to be allowed to fall into the wrong hands." In orbit, Kralfax watched with growing horror as quantum signatures began to emanate from Earth's surface. The humans weren't just activating forgotten technology. They were becoming something else entirely. Something the hegemony had spent millennia trying to prevent. The 24-hour deadline suddenly seemed far too generous. Earth's first true war for survival was about to begin, and humanity was remembering exactly why they had once been the most feared species in the galaxy. Echoes of the ancestors. The transformation spread across Earth like a golden tide. As the hegemony's containment fleet approached, millions of humans began experiencing the awakening. Streets in every major city filled with people whose veins glowed with ancient power, their minds expanding with knowledge hidden in their very DNA. In New Delhi, a street vendor suddenly understood the quantum mechanics of teleportation. In Lagos, a school teacher found herself instinctively grasping the principles of gravitational manipulation. Humanity's dormant potential, carefully preserved through countless generations, was finally unleashing itself. Dr. Elena Martinez monitored the global developments from the Science Council's emergency bunker beneath Geneva. The holographic displays showed an exponential increase in quantum activity across the planet. "It's not just random activation," she explained to General Chen. "Our ancestors encoded specific knowledge into different genetic lines. We're becoming what we were always meant to be." The general studied the data with growing amazement. "And what exactly were we meant to be, Doctor?" Before Elena could answer, the bunker's quantum sensors screamed to life. Above them, the hegemony had launched its first attack. First Observer Kralfax directed the assault from the eternal vigilance, his crystalline form pulsing with determination. "Target their largest population centers," he commanded. "We must prevent the full awakening at any cost." The hegemony's warships positioned themselves in attack formation, their weapons charging with enough power to reduce cities to ash. But Earth had other plans. As the first energy beams lanced toward the planet's surface, the ancient defense grid sprang to life. Quantum shields shimmed into existence, not just deflecting the attacks but absorbing their energy. Each blast intended to destroy humanity only served to fuel their transformation. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, Dr. James Chen, no relation to the general, and his research team watched in awe as a vast chamber revealed itself. The ice hadn't melted. It had simply phased out of existence, revealing a facility that spanned hundreds of kilometers. Similar discoveries were being reported from other sites around the globe. "These aren't just bunkers," James reported via quantum link to the Geneva facility. "They're incubators. Our ancestors left us everything we'd need to defend ourselves, but it had to be activated by our own evolutionary timeline. The hegemony's arrival was the final trigger." In orbit, Kralfax received increasingly desperate reports from his fleet. Human quantum signatures were growing stronger by the hour. More disturbing were the readings from the solar system's outer reaches. Something massive was stirring in the Kuiper belt. Elena felt the change deepen within her. The knowledge flooding her consciousness wasn't just technical data, it was memory. Real memory, passed down through generations, preserved in the quantum structure of human DNA. She saw flashes of ancient battles, of a time when humans had been the guardians of countless species. Most importantly, she understood why they had gone into hiding. "We weren't defeated," she announced to the assembled world leaders, her voice carrying through the quantum network that now connected all awakened humans. "We chose to retreat. The power we wielded, it was attracting something from beyond the galaxy, something that devours advanced civilizations. The hegemony arose in our absence, building their empire on the ruins of our old protectorates." General Chen's eyes widened as her own ancestral memories surfaced. "The sleeping fleet," she whispered. "It's still out there." In New York, Tokyo, Moscow, and thousands of other locations, humans began working with inherited knowledge that felt as natural as breathing. Quantum fabricators, hidden in dimensional pockets by their ancestors, emerged to produce technologies that defied conventional physics. The hegemony's attempt to suppress humanity had instead accelerated their rebirth. Krell watched the tactical displays with growing dread. His fleet's weapons were becoming less effective by the minute as humans mastered their defensive capabilities. But what truly terrified him was the message now broadcasting from Earth on all frequencies, in a language that hadn't been heard in the galaxy for millennia. "This is Earth, reclaiming its role as guardian of the free species. To all those suppressed by the hegemony, help is coming." The message repeated in thousands of languages, reaching every corner of hegemony space. On countless worlds, subjugated species looked to the skies with newfound hope. The legendary protectors were returning. In the Kuiper Belt, ancient engines began to power up. A fleet that had slumbered for thousands of years stirred to life, its ships larger than cities, built with technology that made the hegemony's most advanced vessels look primitive in comparison. Humanity wasn't just remembering who they were. They were remembering why they had been feared, why they had been respected, why species across the galaxy had once called them the shield of creation. And the hegemony was about to learn why suppressing humanity's development had been their greatest mistake. The price of freedom. The first major battle for Earth's freedom began not with a bang, but with a ripple through space-time itself. As the hegemony fleet prepared for their final assault, humanity revealed just how much they had remembered in the past 72 hours. Elena Martinez stood at the newly activated Quantum Command Center in Geneva, her consciousness linked to millions of awakened humans worldwide. Through their shared neural network, she felt the determination of her species. There would be no submission, no return to ignorance. The price of freedom would be paid in full. "They're launching their primary assault," General Chen announced, her golden eyes tracking the movement of enemy ships. "All defense grids report ready. Quantum shields at maximum capacity." The hegemony's attack was magnificent in its devastation. Thousands of energy beams struck Earth's atmosphere simultaneously, enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. But instead of destruction, the assault triggered something unexpected. The quantum shields didn't just absorb the attack, they reshaped it. Every point of impact became a nexus of transformation, converting the hostile energy into pure computational power. Earth's defensive grid had been designed not just to protect, but to evolve. First observer Krell watched in horror as his fleet's combined firepower accomplished nothing except accelerating humanity's reawakening. "Impossible," he whispered, his crystalline form clouding with fear. The archives spoke of their defensive capabilities. But this? In the Kuiper Belt, humanity's sleeping fleet continued its activation sequence. Each vessel was a city-sized construct of technology so advanced it bordered on magic. But they weren't just warships, they were seeds of civilization, designed to restore and protect developing species. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, Dr. James Chen made a discovery that changed everything. "The facility isn't just a bunker," he reported through the quantum network. "It's a template engine. Our ancestors didn't just leave us weapons, they left us the blueprint for rebuilding the galaxy's protective network." Elena felt the truth of his words resonate through her enhanced consciousness. The genetic memories flooding through humanity weren't random. Each bloodline carried specific pieces of a vast puzzle, a plan set in motion thousands of years ago. They knew, she broadcast to the unified human consciousness. Our ancestors knew that hiding would only be temporary. They seeded us across Earth, letting us develop naturally until we were ready. Every major breakthrough in human history was guided by these dormant memories, preparing us for this moment. The hegemony's frustration manifested in increasingly desperate tactics. They launched dimensional disruptors, weapons designed to tear apart the fabric of space itself. But even these fell before humanity's awakened power. In orbit, the first wave of Earth's planetary defenders took flight. They weren't traditional spacecraft, but manifestations of quantum engineering. Vessels that existed simultaneously in multiple dimensions, crewed by humans whose consciousness had expanded beyond normal spacetime. Krellfax received a priority transmission from the Hegemony Council. The message was brief but terrifying. The outer colonies are in revolt. Ancient human quantum signatures detected on 17 worlds. The containment protocol has failed. He understood then the true scope of humanity's ancient plan. Earth hadn't been a prison or a hiding place. It had been an incubator, a safe haven where humanity could evolve beyond their original capabilities. The Hegemony's attempt to suppress them had only activated failsafes designed eons ago. On Earth, Elena and the unified human consciousness made a decision. They had the power to destroy the Hegemony fleet with a thought. But that wasn't their purpose. They were guardians, not conquerors. To all Hegemony forces, Elena broadcast. Her message carried on waves of quantum energy. We offer you one chance, as you offered us. Withdraw your fleet. End the policy of species suppression. Return to your worlds and prepare for change. The age of isolation is over. The response came not from Krellfax, but from within his own fleet. Ships began powering down their weapons as crew members. Many from species that remembered Earth's ancient protection chose to stand down. In the quantum network, General Chen's consciousness brushed against Elena's. They're retreating, but this isn't over. The Hegemony won't give up control easily. Elena nodded, watching through 1,000 eyes as the enemy fleet began its withdrawal. No, it's not over. But for the first time in thousands of years, humanity is awake, and we remember our purpose. In the Kuiper Belt, the ancient fleet's activation reached completion. Soon, Earth would have the means to restore what was lost, to rebuild the network of protection that had once spanned the galaxy. But first, they would have to face the true test of their awakening. For in the darkness between galaxies, something stirred. The same force that had driven humanity into hiding millennia ago had sensed their return. And this time, retreat would not be an option. Legacy of the Stars. The ancient fleet emerged from the Kuiper Belt like a constellation coming to life. Each vessel was a masterwork of quantum engineering, their hulls shimmering with patterns that seemed to bend reality itself. As they approached Earth, humanity felt a collective surge of recognition. These weren't just ships, they were their inheritance. Elena Martinez stood aboard the fleet's flagship, the Stellar Aegis. Her consciousness expanded through its vast quantum networks. The vessel's interior shifted and flowed according to the crew's needs, its systems so advanced they responded to thought itself. Through the quantum link, she sensed similar ships awakening throughout the galaxy, hidden on distant worlds, waiting for humanity's return. The mapping is complete, she announced to the Unified Command. Our ancestors didn't just hide ships in the Kuiper Belt. They left them scattered across thousands of worlds, disguised as natural formations. Each one contains a piece of the Guardian network. In the Geneva Command Center, General Chen studied the strategic display with growing amazement. The ships weren't positioning themselves for war. They were aligning for something far more ambitious. They're creating the quantum lattice, she realized, a network that spans the entire galaxy. First observer Krellfax, now retreated to the Hegemony's capital world, received the reports with mounting dread. The humans weren't just reclaiming their military might. They were restoring an ancient system of order that predated the Hegemony by millennia. Deep in the Himalayan facility, Dr. James Chen made another breakthrough. The genetic memories we've inherited, he broadcast through the quantum network. They're not just technical knowledge. They're a warning. The reason our ancestors went into hiding. It's still out there. As if in response to his words, quantum sensors across the fleet detected a disturbance at the galaxy's edge. Something vast and dark was moving, drawn by humanity's reemergence. Elena accessed deeper layers of her genetic memory, understanding flooding her consciousness. "The Void Hunters," she whispered. "That's what drove us into hiding. They're drawn to advanced civilizations like moths to flame." The hegemony's policy of suppression wasn't just about control. It was about survival. The ancient fleet moved with purpose now, each ship taking its place in a vast pattern around Earth. The quantum lattice began to form, connecting not just the ships but the consciousness of every awakened human. They were becoming something greater than the sum of their parts. In hegemony space, revolution spread like wildfire. Species that had been suppressed for generations found their own hidden catches of human technology, left as seeds of hope by the ancient guardians. The empire that had stood for thousands of years began to crumble. Kralfax made a decision. Standing before the Hegemony Council, his crystalline form pulsing with determined light, he spoke truth that had been hidden for generations. "The humans weren't our enemies," he declared. "They were our shields. When they went into hiding, they left us to protect the galaxy. We failed. We became the very thing they once fought against." On the stellar Aegis, Alina received an unexpected transmission, a request for alliance from the Hegemony Council. As the quantum lattice expanded, more species began to remember Earth's ancient role. The Guardians had returned, and not a moment too soon. The first attack from the Void Hunters came without warning. At the edge of human space, 3 worlds went dark in an instant, their quantum signatures snuffed out like candles in a storm. But this time, humanity was ready. The ancient fleet moved as one, their quantum lattice turning the very fabric of space into a weapon. Alina felt the combined consciousness of billions flow through the network, each mind contributing to a defense that transcended physical reality. "We didn't hide because we were weak," she broadcast across the galaxy. "We hid to evolve, to become something that could face this threat. The hegemony's suppression delayed us, but it also protected us, kept us hidden until we were ready." Throughout the galaxy, the sleeping ships continued to awake. Each one added its power to the lattice, strengthening the barrier between normal space and the void beyond. Humanity wasn't just fighting for Earth anymore. They were fighting for every species that had ever looked up at the stars with hope. On thousands of worlds, the suppressed races of the hegemony made their choice. Ancient alliances were remembered, old oaths renewed. The Guardian Network was reborn, not as a human dominion, but as a coalition of species united against the darkness. The true war was about to begin, and this time, retreat was not an option. Humanity had awakened to its purpose, and the price of that awakening would be paid in full. The legacy of the stars would live on, or all of creation would fall into darkness. Dawn of a new era. The galaxy held its breath as the Void Hunters launched their full assault. They came not as ships or beings, but as tears in reality itself, living darkness that consumed everything in its path. The quantum lattice created by humanity's ancient fleet blazed against the void, a network of light holding back the encroaching darkness. Alina Martinez, her consciousness now fully merged with the stellar Aegis, felt the presence of every awakened human in the galaxy. Through the quantum network, billions of minds worked as one, each contributing their unique genetic memories to the defense of all life. Multiple breaches detected. General Chen's voice resonated through the network. "The Void Hunters are testing the lattice, searching for weaknesses." The tactical display showed darkness seeping through gaps in their defenses, probing for a way to shatter the barrier between dimensions. But humanity wasn't fighting alone anymore. Former hegemony worlds, their own ancestral technologies now awakened, joined the quantum network. First observer Kralfax, his crystalline form resonating with newfound purpose, led the combined fleet of former suppressed species. The archive spoke true. He broadcast across the unified network. Humanity wasn't meant to be contained. They were meant to be the catalyst. Our attempts to suppress them nearly doomed us all. Deep in the Himalayan facility, Dr. James Chen made the final connection. The quantum template engine wasn't just a blueprint for rebuilding. It was a key to understanding the Void Hunters themselves. They're not invaders. he announced, his discovery rippling through the network. They're a cosmic immune response, the galaxy's own antibodies, attacking civilizations that grow too powerful in isolation. Elena grasped the truth in his words. The ancient guardians hadn't just been protecting developing species, they had been guiding them toward cooperation, toward a unity that could withstand the void. The hegemony's empire of suppression had disrupted this natural evolution, making the galaxy vulnerable. The Void Hunters struck again, this time targeting the quantum lattice itself. But where they expected to find weakness, they encountered something unprecedented. Billions of minds working in perfect harmony, each contributing their unique perspective to the galaxy's defense. Through the network, Elena accessed the deepest layers of human genetic memory. The answer had been there all along, encoded in their DNA by ancestors who had faced this same threat. The Void Hunters couldn't be destroyed. They were part of the cosmic balance, but they could be transformed. All ships, all worlds, she broadcast, her consciousness expanding to encompass the entire network. Don't fight the darkness. Reshape it. The quantum lattice isn't just a shield. It's a bridge between realities. Understanding flowed through the unified consciousness of 1,000 species. The ancient fleet began to move in new patterns, their quantum fields no longer pushing against the void, but harmonizing with it. The Void Hunters, sensing this change, paused in their assault. First observer Kralfax watched in awe as the quantum lattice began to pulse with new energy. They're not just defending, he realized. They're healing the breach between realities. The transformation spread across the galaxy like ripples in a cosmic pond. Where the Void Hunters had torn holes in space-time, the combined power of the quantum network began to weave new patterns. The darkness wasn't being destroyed. It was being integrated, becoming part of a greater whole. Elena felt the change at the deepest level of reality. The genetic memories passed down through generations had prepared humanity not just to fight, but to understand. The Void Hunters were balance made manifest, and balance could be restored. As the quantum lattice completed its work, the galaxy witnessed something unprecedented. The tears in reality sealed themselves, but the Void Hunters didn't retreat. Instead, they became part of the new order, their presence transformed from destruction to preservation. In Geneva, General Chen watched as the tactical displays showed a galaxy forever changed. The ancient Guardian network was restored, but it was different now, not just a defensive system, but a living framework of cooperation between all species. The hegemony's empire of suppression had fallen, replaced by something far older and wiser. Humanity had reclaimed its role not as conquerors or rulers, but as guardians of a delicate cosmic balance. What happens now? Kralfax asked, his crystalline form reflecting the light of 1,000,000,000,000 stars. Elena, her consciousness still linked to the vast network that now spanned the galaxy, smiled. Now we do what we were meant to do all along. We guide, we protect, and we prepare for whatever comes next. But this time, we do it together. Across the galaxy, on worlds once suppressed by fear and ignorance, species looked up at the stars with new understanding. The age of isolation was over. The age of unity had begun. And in the vast spaces between stars, the transformed Void Hunters moved in harmony with the quantum lattice, no longer hunters but partners in maintaining the cosmic balance. Humanity had not just survived, they had fulfilled their ancient purpose, transforming not just themselves but the very nature of reality. The dawn of a new era had arrived, and its light would shine for eons to come.